Hello, today's session is going to get some heat building in the muscles and hopefully leave you feeling strong. As always, you get to decide the intensity, so feel free to take a pause wherever you need it or find ways to amp it up even more. So when you're ready, we'll get started. So today we're going to start lying down, so there's no rush to get there. Move through anything on the way. When you do get to your back, you can just come to stillness, you can have a bit of a move around. But whatever you're doing, just try and check in. Notice how you're feeling. You don't have to label anything good or bad. Just do your best just to notice what's there. In your own time, we're going to bring the knees in towards the chest, so just looping the hands over the shins and just giving them a little squeeze. And here you can have a little rock side to side, it might feel quite nice across the back. And then after this, we're going to hold on to the right leg, either bringing the left foot flat on the floor or sliding it towards the bottom of your mat. Just see what feels more comfortable through the hips. And here, just squeezing the right knee in towards the chest. You can play with pointing and flexing through the foot, maybe making some circles from the ankle. Trying to soften the shoulders down towards the floor, relaxing across the chest, through the face. And then you can keep the knee towards the chest or starting to slide it down towards the armpit, engaging through the right glute to help turn the hip out. And still you can play with pointing and flexing through the foot. If that feels good, you can just keep it still. And then you can keep the knee in or starting to lengthen the foot up towards the ceiling, catching the hands behind the thigh, the calf, up towards the foot. And here we're just aiming for a little bit of a stretch through the back of the leg, so the knee can still be bent for this. You find the sensation that you want. And again, maybe playing with moving the foot around, maybe swaying the leg. And you can just keep it moving. You can come to stillness in a particularly stretchy sensation. I'll stay here for a few more breaths, so just enjoying whatever you're doing. And from here, bringing that knee back in towards the chest, bringing the left knee up to join it, quick squeeze, and then swapping the hands around, so holding onto the left leg, right foot either coming flat or towards the bottom of the mat. Again, starting with the squeeze, you get to decide the intensity, so it can be quite loose, you can really hug the leg in, you can play with moving the foot, but again, just trying to let the shoulders soften down. Finding places in the body where you can release tension, so maybe through that right leg, through the face, the jaw. And then keeping the knee towards the chest or sliding it down towards the left armpit, engaging through the left glute to turn the hip out. And again, maybe playing with that foot, maybe keeping it still. And from here, either keeping the knee in or starting to send the foot up towards the ceiling, catching the hands wherever on the leg feels comfortable to you, and just lengthening the knee enough to get a bit of a stretchy sensation through the calf and the hamstring. Again, maybe playing with the foot, maybe swaying the leg around, maybe just being still. Couple more breaths here. when you're ready, bringing that left knee back in, bringing the right knee up to join it, quick little squeeze. And then bringing one hand on top of each knee, we'll just start to make some circles. So sending the knees in opposite directions, easing through the hips. And however slow you're going, seeing if you can slow it down even more. And you don't have to force yourself into a really deep hip stretch here. You can keep it gentle. We're just getting a little bit of movement in the knee, in the legs. Trying to slow your breathing down, bringing a bit more attention to it. And from here, starting to change directions. You can keep your attention on your breath, your heartbeat. Maybe the sensation in your hips. Maybe pay attention to how your hands are feeling, or notice the tailbone lifting and lowering. And when you're ready, bringing the knees back in towards the hips, quick little squeeze. And then next we'll come up into a tabletop position, so onto your hands and knees. It's up to you how you get there. If you want to rock and roll along the spine, just roll over to one side. And just finding your way into your tabletop, maybe having a little bit of a wiggle when you get there. And then when you're ready, starting to come to stillness. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, toes can be tucked or pointed, but lifting up out of the shoulders, wrapping the shoulder blades around so that they're separating on the back. Gently drawing the tummy in. And then from here we're going to step back with the right foot, coming up onto the toes and straightening through that right leg. From here, starting to rock forward and back, really pressing back through that heel, stretching through the sole of the foot, and then rocking forward, stretching through the wrists. So we'll keep this going for a little bit. And you can choose the speed that you rock forward and back. You can match it to your breath. You can go quicker or slower than that. But really taking the time to press back through that heel and then bring the weight into the hands. From here, we're going to come to pause, just pressing back through that heel, stretching through the calf, really pressing up off the hand, so the left knee might even become a little bit light. And from here, bringing that right knee back down, coming back into your tabletop. And then we'll do that on the other side, so stepping back with the left toes, and again, just starting to rock forward and back, still drawing the tummy in, pressing up out of the shoulders, maybe matching this movement to your breath, maybe being quicker or slower, whatever feels right to you, whatever allows you time to really press back and then rock forward. And from here, we'll come to pause, pressing back through that heel, pressing into the hands, drawing the tummy in, lifting up out of the shoulders. And when you're ready, bringing that left knee back down, taking a moment in your tabletop, maybe having a little wiggle, go through a cat-cow, whatever feels right to you. And then when you're ready, finding your way up into a downward dog, coming through anything on the way. And taking your time to settle, maybe having a little wiggle around, rolling through the feet, pedaling through the legs. And then when you're ready, coming to stillness, spreading through the fingers, letting the head be neutral, sending the hips back, hugging the lower ribs in, wrapping the shoulders round, aiming the heels down towards the floor even if they don't touch. From here, pressing into the left foot. As you inhale, right foot going high into your three-legged dog. As you exhale, sending that knee forward and stepping through into a lunge. Taking a moment to land and readjust, maybe having a little rock forward and back, easing through the hips. And then when you're ready, planting the feet, squeezing through the legs, big inhale, lifting arms and chest into your lunge. Taking a moment to land here, you can drop the arms if you want, give them a little shake. Trying to square the hips, so both hips are pointing forward and you're not at more of a diagonal. You might need to bend the knee to give yourself a bit more space to do that. Gently lengthening through the spine, just like in your downward dog, keeping the lower ribs tucked in. Then on your next inhale, reaching fingertips high, lifting up out of the waist. And as you exhale, hands coming down and stepping back into a downward dog. Giving yourself a moment here, finding that nice stable position. And when you're ready, pressing into the right foot, inhaling, left foot going high. As you exhale, sending that knee forward and stepping through into a lunge. And again, just a little bit of time for you, doing whatever you want, even if it's just being still. Just easing into the legs. Finding a bit of space in the neck, through the shoulders. Then pressing through the feet, squeezing through the legs. Big inhale, lifting arms and chest. Again, taking a moment to pause here. Have a little shake out if you need it. Maybe challenge your balance by having a move. But when you're ready, just trying to square that hip forward. If you do have the back leg straight, trying to press that back heel down towards the floor. It won't touch, but it will just give you a good stretch around that right hip. Gently lengthening through the spine, still pressing into that front foot. Then as you inhale, fingertips high, lengthening through the body. And as you exhale, hands coming down and finding your way back into a downward dog. Taking a moment to pause, have a little wiggle if you need it. And then from here, coming to stillness. And then on your next inhale, we're going to lift the heels up off the floor, coming up onto your tiptoes, shifting the weight into the arms. And then as you exhale, peeling through the feet and pressing the heels back down. Keeping that going. Inhaling to lift. Exhale, shifting back. Once more, all the way up. And then exhale, pressing back. This time as you inhale, we're going to lift the heels but also tuck the chin and roll forward into a plank. Coming to pause here, making this plank work for you. If you want to drop the knees or one knee, if you want to come down onto the forearms. Whatever makes it feel more fun. But wherever you are, pressing up out of the shoulders, gently drawing the tummy in. Then we're going to start to press into the right hand, rolling onto the right side of the feet, and as you inhale, left hand coming high. Taking a moment in your side plank, modifying it however you need. If you need the left toes behind you as a bit of a kickstand, if you want to bring the right knee down to the floor, if you want to come down onto that forearm, if it's too much for the wrist. But wherever you are, whatever pose modification you're in, reaching that left hand up, lifting the hips, lifting up out of that right shoulder. And then we're going to come into a lunge next, so if you want to bring the left hand down you can. Otherwise, starting to draw that left foot up the right leg as high as you can, turning on the right toes and stepping forward as quietly as you can. Giving yourself a moment to settle in, readjust. And then when you're ready, pressing through the feet, squeezing through the legs, big inhale, lifting up into your high lunge. Taking a moment to find your balance, sending that front knee in the same direction as the toes so it's not rolling out or rolling in. And then from here, we're going to come into our goddess pose. So if you want, you might want to step the toes in just an inch or so, just so you've got a slightly shorter stance for it. And then from here, as you inhale, we're going to lift on up, lengthening through that front leg, starting to turn round to the right side, spinning on the back heel. As you exhale, pressing the right heel down and bending into the knees. Keeping that going. Inhaling to lift, twisting back round to the front, and exhale, bending into that front knee and back into your lunge. A couple more like that. Inhaling to lift. Exhale, sinking back down nice and slow. And again, all the way up. Exhale, back into your lunge. Last time, reaching up, lengthening through the spine. Then as you exhale, we'll come to pause in our goddess pose. So taking a moment to readjust if you need to. Sinking into the hips, you can let the arms fall down for a bit. But here, trying to tuck the tailbone under so you're nice and long through the body and you're not sticking your bum out like a little duck. And from here, just coming to stillness, pressing through all four corners of the feet. Then on your next inhale, reaching on up, lengthening through the legs, squeezing the thighs at the top. And then exhale, sinking back down. Keeping that going. Inhaling to lift. Exhale to sink. Once more, all the way up. Exhale, sinking down. This time we're going to lift up again, but we're going to press into the heels, turn the toes to face the long edge of your mat. Then as you exhale, folding over into a forward fold. Taking a moment here, you can make the feet wider, you can bring them closer together. And you can have nice deep bends in the knees, you can start to lengthen into them. Try to release the head, maybe giving the head a nod or a shake. And here pressing into the balls of the feet and the outside edges, just to help you keep the hips in line with the ankles and you're not sending the hips really far back and overextending into the knees. A couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, walking the hands back towards the front foot, turning on the toes back through your lunge, and then finding your way back into a downward dog. Pausing for a moment, taking a moment to settle in. If you'd like to come to your child's pose or any other position, we're just going to take a moment, take a few deep breaths. So however you feel comfortable doing that. But wherever you are, trying to come to stillness, bringing the attention in. And if you're not in your downward dog yet, making your way back up there. And then we'll go for that on the other side. So on your next inhale, starting to lift the heels, coming up onto the tiptoes, shifting the weight into the hands. As you exhale, peeling through the feet and pressing back. Keeping that going. Inhale to lift. Exhale, pressing back. And again, all the way up, still hugging the tummy in. Exhale, peeling through the feet, taking your time. And then this time, as you inhale, going to lift the heels, but also tuck the chin and roll forward into a plank like a wave. Just like before, taking a moment to settle, if that means bringing one knee down, both knees down, coming down onto the forearms. Whatever you need to do to make it fun. Wherever you are, pressing up out of the shoulders, drawing the tummy in, and then pressing into the left hand or the left forearm, rolling onto the left side of the feet. As you inhale, right hand going high into your side plank. Again, modifying however you need. Right foot back, left knee down, coming down onto the forearm. But wherever you are, lifting up out of that left shoulder, pressing the hips up towards the ceiling, reaching those right fingertips. And then we'll come into a lunge, so maybe bringing that right hand down, maybe keeping it lifted, but drawing that right foot up the left leg as high as you can go, spinning on the left toes, and stepping forward as quietly as you can. Taking a moment to readjust, settle in, setting up that strong base for our high lunge, so pressing through the feet, squeezing through the legs, inhaling, lifting arms and chest. Taking a moment to pause, to settle in, find some space in the shoulders, through the neck. And here again, we'll come into our goddess pose. So if you want, stepping those back toes in just an inch or so. And then on your next inhale, we're going to lift up, lengthen through the front leg, start to spin round to the left. As you exhale, planting that left heel down and sinking into your goddess pose. Inhaling, lifting back up, picking up that left heel, spinning back round to the front. Exhale, back into your lunge. Keeping that going. Inhaling to lift and spin. Exhale, pressing through the feet, sinking the hips. Last one, all the way up, slow and steady, keeping your balance. Exhale, bending into that front knee. This time, we'll lift up, we'll spin round, then as you exhale, settling into your goddess pose. And here, again, taking a moment to settle in, shuffling the feet about if you need to, sinking into the hips, engaging through the glutes to turn the hips out, lifting up out of the waist and spreading through the fingers. This time we're going to do some heel lifts. So on your next inhale, peeling the heels up off the floor, coming up onto the tiptoes. As you exhale, gently pressing the heels back down to the floor. Keeping that going. Inhale to lift. Exhale, sinking back down nice and steady. This time as you inhale, lifting the heels, coming to pause just for a moment. Drawing the tummy in, lengthening through the spine. And then on your next exhale, heels coming down. Inhaling, lengthening through the legs, turning the feet, and then folding over into your wide-legged forward fold. And taking your time here, again, you can play with the position of the feet. You can just hang heavy. You can have a bit of a move around. But whatever you're doing, still pressing into the balls of the feet, into the outside edges, so you're not rolling in on the ankles. Just taking a moment to focus on your breath, trying to lengthen the inhales and exhales. And when you're ready, walking the hands back towards the front foot, turning the feet back into your lunge, and then finding your way back into a downward dog. And here we're going to pause for a few breaths. So if you'd rather be in a tabletop, in a child's pose, if you'd rather be seated, feel free to take that. Remember, you get to choose the intensity, you get to decide what sort of challenge you want today. So don't feel like you have to do anything, just go for what you enjoy. If you're not there yet, coming back into your downward dog, finding that strong position, pressing back from the hands, hugging the lower ribs and tummy in, aiming the heels down towards the floor. They don't have to touch and knees can be bent, but just make sure you're sending weight through the legs and it's not all on the arms. And then from here we're going to start to walk the hands back towards the feet, coming into a forward fold towards the back of your mat and just hanging over for a few moments. Here you can have a really deep bend in the knees, you can just have a little one, but whatever you're doing, whether you're still, whether you're moving, trying to let the head go, so maybe give it a couple of nods and shakes, loosen up through the shoulders. And just let yourself hang heavy. And then next we're going to come to lie down, so it's up to you how you get there. If you want to come down one knee at a time. If you want to come through your garland pose, just bringing the hands flat on the floor like you would in a plank or a downward dog. Shuffle the feet out so they're about the width of the mat, toes pointing out about a 45-degree angle. Then shifting the weight forward into the arms so that the heels become light. Lowering the hips, still pressing through the arms so that the knees don't have to do all the work. And here, if you want, you can pause in your garland pose, pressing through all four corners of the feet, lengthening through the spine, softening through the shoulders, engaging through the glutes to help turn the hips out. And when you're ready, coming to lie down, no rush to get there. And here it might be nice just to give the wrists a couple of circles. Then when you're ready, we're going to reach the hands up towards the top of the mat, reach the feet down towards the bottom, and just go for a full body stretch. So reaching through the fingers, pointing through the toes, really lengthening through the tummy. And you might find that your spine starts to arch off the back here. So if it does, that's okay, just so long as you don't feel any pinching. And then when you're ready, letting that go, letting yourself soften to the floor, and just finding a position that you feel comfortable in. So it might be still with the hands overhead, legs down straight, but you can change it up. You can bring the knees back up. You can let the hands rest on your belly or by your sides. Wherever you are, just letting the eyes close. Releasing tension through the body. Just taking a moment of stillness. Feeling the body relax and sink into the floor. And you can stay here for as long as you like. When you're ready to get moving again, starting to lengthen your inhales and exhales, feeling the tummy fill up like a balloon. And at the end of each exhale, maybe giving the tummy a little squeeze just to empty the lungs. In your own time, starting to move the body again, so you might want to start with your fingers and toes. You might want to start at your head and move your way down through the body into the legs. There doesn't have to be any rhyme or reason to how you move. Just try and keep it slow and gentle. And then we'll come up into a seated position. No rush to get there. Find an easy, gentle route. Keeping the eyes closed if you can. And choosing a way to sit that feels comfortable to you. If you want to sit on something, lean against something. Just take your time to settle. Have a little wiggle if you need it. But lengthening through the spine, floating the ribcage over the pelvis, softening shoulders and lifting the chin. And from here, taking a big inhale, reaching the hands all the way out, all the way up above you. And then exhaling, hands floating down, past the face and chest, and into the lap. Keeping that going. Big inhale, lifting up out of the hips, reaching those fingertips high, and then exhale, hands floating down and shoulders relaxing. Last one, biggest one yet. Maybe taking an extra sip of air in at the top, and then exhale, hands floating down, maybe blinking the eyes open as they pass the face. And there we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that's woken up your muscles and left you feeling powerful, and I'll see you next time.